Okay, guys, this is part 2 of our observations between some differences between Ukrainian women, I say Ukrainian women, but Eastern European women, and Western women. And this is from our experience, from what we witnessed with our clients, and just in general what we believe. Can
you explain me this word, please?
Promiscuity.
Yes, I've never heard it.
It sounds like ham, doesn't it? Like some sort of a smoked ham, like prosciutto. Something like that. Anyway, so the videos I'll list them down below is mentality, promiscuity, I don't need a man mentality, dating etiquette, and roles in the relationship. Click on the links down below.
And subscribe to the Telegram channel, please.
Yeah.
Also below. What is promiscuity?
Okay, so promiscuity means is that having a lot of sex. Okay.
Okay, in general or with
In general. So having a lot of sex, okay, is celebrated in the West, right? In Ukraine, it is shamed, right? If a woman is
you mean having it within the family or just in general?
No. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. So free.
Okay.
Freely having sex, going out to clubs, having sex on Fridays.
I understand. I understand enough.
Now we're all learning a few things, aren't we?
Oh.
So promiscuity in the West is celebrated as a form of freedom, and almost like a form of like an expression of who you are. You should be able to have sex with as many people as you want, whenever you want. If it's a woman, with man, with woman, with animals, with trees, it doesn't matter. It's an expression, right? Whereas in Ukraine, they're much more conserved, right? They're much more likely to keep things to themselves. They don't want to. Even displays of affection can be a lot heavily more reserved in Ukraine, and this is massive, and this is a societal problem. I don't think this is through evolution or anything like that. There's nothing too difficult to understand other than the fact that society in either one of these countries has told them something is right and something is wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I think that most men can agree that promiscuity, the Western way of doing things, is not what we want. We don't desire it. We don't think it is good for society, for culture, for families, for anything whatsoever. There's nothing good about that, right? And in Ukraine, okay, so a lot of guys are drawn to other cultures. I mean, it could also be in Thailand, it could also be in Southeast Asia, but Eastern Europe as a whole, there is a more stigma when it comes to women being promiscuous, right? Now, I think that possibly that is changing. Is it becoming maybe a little bit more westernized, especially through countries, like you could say like Poland and things like that, but that's just Western influence. But a lot of this I relate to the sexual revolution, which didn't really happen like it did in the West. The sexual revolution came through, and it made what it did is it detached having sex with reproducing, with having kids, right? And so once you detach those two through contraception, you detach the fact that whenever you are going to have sex, you bear the responsibility that you may have children. Now, this didn't really happen in Ukraine like it did in the West. There wasn't a celebration for this. We've talked before on our podcast the other week about people in the Soviet Union didn't have sex. It's kind of like a joke. They didn't have sex because nobody talked about it. There was no sexual education. I think it was in maybe early 2000s.
But it's still not, like there's still,
yeah, exactly.
Like, it's kind of like
that's what I'm saying.
In some things, Ukraine is like so ahead, and some things they're so behind.
Yeah, they're ahead in technology, but they're behind in, I guess, I wouldn't even say traditions. They're just sort of, but I think that it's going to go exponential. I think it's going to catch up to the West a lot faster than the West got to this point here, just because of things that are happening in the world at the moment. But even like I was just going to say, like even in the 2000s, there was the percentage of Ukrainian, or it was actually Russian women that I read taking the contraceptive pill was, I believe it was less than 10%. At the exact same time in the United States, it was about 65 or 70%. So they were much more liberal about having sex freely without a care in the world, not thinking that if I have sex with this man, I'm stuck with him and he's going to have to bear the child, right? So that was ingrained through several generations that you can have sex with whoever you want, just as long as you take that contraceptive pill. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. Whereas in other countries where it wasn't so liberal, they have to take on the responsibility of having sex, that it comes connected to the fact that if you have sex at a particular time, with a particular man, you're going to bear children to that man. And that's why I believe that in Ukraine or in these Eastern European countries, it's viewed in that particular way. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I support you. And like even this birth control pills, like you told me that, you know, sometimes they give it for the girls because of like acne, but I know like I have a lady who was married to a guy, he's Ukrainian, they moved there, and like she was telling that the children they giving them this birth control pills like starting from 16, 17.
Yeah.
Like in Ukraine, like you don't even know about that. I mean, first of all, when you're a grow up woman, like you try to avoid it because it's like so bad for you. But for younger one, it's like it's so rare that somebody would get it. I mean, if you're in a relationship and like if you like all pros and cons, but just at school, people don't do it. Like people literally don't do it.
Yeah, the sexual revolution, like they use the word revolution as if this was like some great discovery that made things the world better. I actually correlate most of the world's problems in the Western world to the sexual revolution. This is where it changed between a man and a woman, and a man and a woman create life, and life is everything that's around us, right?
Yeah.
It then leads to everything else. When the pill first came out, it was only allowed to be prescribed to married couples. Premarital sex wasn't allowed, so why would they provide those couples with a pill so they wouldn't get pregnant? So, and then when it was prescribed to couples before marriage, I mean, well, that opens the floodgates to just have as much sex whenever you want without any responsibility. Takes even morals go out the window, even when it comes to things like abortion, whichever side of that you stand on, of the fence of that issue, you know. So yeah, so this is why I believe promiscuity is so massive and rampant in the West. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. These women that are like 17, 18, 19, 20 on OnlyFans doing all this stupid stuff because sex is literally nothing. It's literally nothing. Whereas in previous history, sex is directly related to having children.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another thing that we think is different between Ukrainian women and Western women.